Okay, so we have already started giving lecture on project management, and we have already discussed certain things on project management, and we have already discussed the issues, the cost, and yes, scope management, issue management, cost management, that we have already discussed. Then we have discussed the project time management. The next thing that we need to discuss is the quality management. So quality management. Let's talk about the project quality. So what is quality management? Quality management is the process that ensure the project will meet the needs. So let's define what is quality. In previous semester, in previous second semester, you people have studied quality. So as Crosby has defined quality as conformance to requirements. So conformance to requirement means whatever is required, how much it is being maintained, conformed, how much it is to the T, whatever the specification was, how far it satisfies the specification. That is the definition of quality by definition by Crosby. Then second, Juran has defined as fitness for use. So how fit the product is to use. So that is the quality of the product. And in ISO 8402:1994 standard, there the quality has been described as the totality of characteristics of an entity that bear on its ability to satisfy stated and implied need. See, stated and implied need. What has been stated as quality and what has been implied. So whether the product has the ability to satisfy up to the stated need and implied what it is supposed to do, whether it is doing according to what it is supposed to do or not. So that is the basic definition of quality. Now in our case, quality management for a project will depend upon quality planning, quality assurance, quality control. So for a project, how well the project is being done, how good the quality of the project, or how good the uh, say take an example. Say you are making your own house as a project, or say a construction of flyover is being done. So whether the quality of the flyover, it will depend upon on its performance. On its performance means whether it will last for more than 10 years without any repairing, or whatever the space standards were that has been specified, whether it is performing according to the specification or not. So that is what is called the quality management, quality of the project. So how can we manage the quality of the project? So quality planning, this is in this case it is quality defined, a clearly defined quality performance standard. So for a particular kind of project, what are the corresponding standards, and those quality standards like ISO 19,000 or ISO 14,000, whatever be the kind of project, accordingly the quality standards are to be defined, and the performance has to be checked after it is being implemented, whether it is being performing according to the plan or according to the specifications or not. Then quality assurance, how those quality bar. So, as I was saying, that clearly defined quality performance standards has to be done earlier. Then, how those quality and performance standards are measured and satisfied. See, every step of the project, whatever quality whatever quality standard was there, uh, uh, whatever quality standard was there, whether that has been maintained or not, that specifications are to be, those benchmarks are to be kept there, and those benchmarks are to be, uh, what should I say, those benchmarks are to be checked and seen whether it is being implemented properly or not. Like that, standards are measured and satisfied. So the benchmark, some benchmarks were specified, and when the implementation of while the implementation of the project, whether the specified benchmarks are satisfied or not, that has to be checked, measured and checked. measured and checked. Then how testing and quality assurance process will ensure the standards are satisfied. Because as you know, we are talking about the construction of the flyover. So in case of construction, the raw materials that are used for the construction of the flyover, whether that raw materials are certain specifications are whether the raw materials specified for the making of flyover, whether they are checked, whether they are specified accordingly or not. Uh, so every step in everywhere, every step we have to check and assure the the proper maintenance of the quality has to be done. Otherwise, it is what are the standards that is to be predefined. Then, according to the standards, every step the things are to be checked and measured and checked and then say approved. Okay, so that the process can go on, so that the process can go on. That will ensure the standard are satisfied, and that will ensure the quality of the project. And obviously, quality control is continuous and ongoing. It's a continuous process. Keep on doing that again and again. So quality control, yeah, if it is not done properly, not controlled properly, the quality of the product or the project will hamper. So uh, so so project quality management is applied to the project activities and the project results. Results means the deliverables, the components, each and every part's deliverables, what is being delivered, so that the so the project management for each and every activity to the quality of the things are to be maintained that way, and then deliverables and project results to fulfill the quality objectives. So project management we have to apply the in the project activities, whatever different activities or different jobs, everywhere the project quality has to be maintained, so that ultimately as a conject as a accumulation of all those small jobs, if all the small jobs are done quite well with keeping the quality in mind, then the whole job will be done with a proper quality. So, and you have known this Deming cycle that has been uh, that has been uh, given by Dr. Professor Walter, Edward Deming, which is called the PDCA cycle, that is plan, do, check, and act. Actually, it was originally proposed by Walter Stewart, and the name was plan, do, study, and act. Initially, it was like that. Then after that, Edward Deming has improved that to Deming cycle, that to plan, do, check, and act. We'll say that. Let's admit the other student. I'll take a break again. Then we'll start the plan, do, check, act PDCA cycle. So PDCA cycle is, as I was saying, is or it's called the Deming cycle. That is plan, do, check, and act in case of quality. So while planning, you need to do the design or revise the business process components to improve the result. So if you remember when we have discussed the project, we have said that the core plan you cannot change. You can make a peripheral changes, because if you want to change the core plan, then the project becomes a little different. So a lot of cost and lot of time could be wasted if you are trying to change the core plan. So in that case, it's better to plan in such a way so that the basic plan should be done in the proper correct manner, and if required some to maintain the quality and the other things in mind, some peripheral changes, basic some uh, outside changes can be done. So design, revise business process components to improve revenue. So planning has to be done properly. Then, according to the plan, try to implement the plan and measure its performance. So plan, do. So according to the plan, you try to implement and then check. So assess the measurement and report to the results to decision maker. So what you have planned and then you try to do according to the plan. But while according to the plan, while going for doing the plan, maybe there are certain difficulties you may face. So you measure those, what are the difficulties or what are the issues that we have talked about earlier. So what are the difficulties that you are facing, and you check with your superiors. You change. You tell the decision makers that this is what is happening, and maybe accordingly certain changes could be incorporated. So that's how you do PDC and act according to the change, act according to modify so that the project can be implemented swiftly. So act, decide on changes needed to improve the process. So while planning, there are certain things which may not be kept in mind. It is quite possible. But while acting, while doing the process, there are certain difficulties you may face. So you have to change accordingly, but certain subtle changes, not too uh, too much to be motivated. Certain basic changes, like the example that we have given in the the example that we are talking about, the sisters marriage. That if you cannot make your choice one marriage hall, you cannot choose your choice on. Then we in the planning, while doing the planning, you have to write the choice one, choice two, choice three. So if you cannot do choice one, then you have to take the choice two or maybe choice three. So you have to plan such a way so that you can do that way. So and do accordingly and act accordingly. So that is what is called the PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, and act. And that's how you can maintain the quality. So project quality planning: identify which quality standards are relevant to the project and determining how to satisfy them. So not every project requires similar kind of planning and similar kind of quality standards. So according to your project, you have to decide what is the corresponding quality standards relevant for that particular kind of project, and you have to make sure that while planning you have to satisfy those quality standards. So that is what is called quality planning. Then quality assurance is the process of evaluating overall project performance on a regular basis to provide confidence that the project will satisfy the relevant quality standards. So you have planned, you have suggested that this is the particular quality standard that is to be maintained for that particular project, and you have planned accordingly. And while implementation, you do stepwise, each every step you try to measure what was the basis that the planning was done and how you are performing. The performance has to be measured accordingly, and to ensure the the quality standards are to be maintained. So quality assurance can be done only when the performance is being measured. So you have to measure the performance according to the quality standard that has already been specified, and if any changes, you have to take the note, you have to act accordingly, you have to change the corresponding plan and act accordingly. So that's how the PDCA cycle comes. And the organization unit that is assigned responsibility for quality assurance means that particular people, the set of people who are responsible for quality assurance, they have to be always on the toe so that they can check and measure and act accordingly and tell the superiors, tell the bosses that whether this it is not going on according to the planned quality, some improvements is needed, or whether it is going on according to the plan or so. That's how the quality can be assured. That's how the quality can be assured. And finally, that is quality control. Every step and each step, the quality has to be controlled. The process of monitoring specific project results to determine if they comply with relevant quality standards and identify ways to eliminate causes of unsatisfactory performance. If there is any unsatisfactory performance, the unsatisfactory performance will hamper the project, and What are the causes for unsatisfactory performance? So you have to eliminate those causes to improve the quality standard, improve to impose the quality control. So what was the standard measurement and act accordingly? Why this is happening? Why the quality is not being maintained? Find out the reason and remove the reason why this is happening, so that it's not maintaining the quality. Replace the people who is not performing to the up to the mark. Certain benchmarks have been, as I've said, certain benchmarks have been specified. So if people are not performing according to the benchmark, according to the specified standard, those people or those material, anything, not only people, any kind of resources that is hampering the standard of the quality of the project, those has to be removed, and new people, new resources are to be used so that the quality can be maintained. So that is how the quality can be controlled. The organization unit that is assigned the responsibility for quality control has to be, as I have said, all has to be on the toe, so that they have to check and recheck so that the quality of the project can be maintained. Start. Hence, so project quality management, depending upon the quality planning, quality control, and quality assurance. So that's more or less about the quality control, so quality management. Then next we, the key resource or key area of project management is the communication management. So what is communication? I think I've said this earlier that because too many people for a project, people from all the departments, different departments are coming together. People from the finance department, people from HR, people from manufacturing, people from IT, MIS. So every people from different departments are coming together. So communication among them is very important, because all the information should be should go to each and every partner, every I shouldn't say partner, every people who are in that project team. Everybody should know what is to be done, how it is to be done, and how it can be reached. So proper information has to be there, proper information processing. So that is why the communication is important. The process is necessary to ensure timely and appropriate generation, collection, dissemination, and storage of project information. See, this is important. Information is in today's world. Information is the most important thing. Information is the key. Proper information, correct, right information, right time, right place, so that everybody knows what is to be done, what his or her job is, what he has to do, and at what time he needs to do that. So that communication should be done in a proper way, so that everybody will be responsible to do his or her job. For that, communication has to be there, proper communication, and that's how the information distribution is required from the top to the bottom. Means from the top level, the CEOs, they will give the responsibility of the project to the team leader. Then project team leader will conjure up people, gather people for the particular project, and he should tell the people what is to be done, and then they plan accordingly. And actually the team leaders or managers will not execute, but the others will execute. For each department they will have handle some people together. So everybody in each team has to be knowing what has to be done, and proper information has to be there. And that's why the project meetings are important. Team meetings, then enterprise service center meetings, and operation service center meetings. Team meetings means, see, as I was saying, say HR, maybe finance, there is a in the team there is a project leader. So under project leader there is somebody from the finance department, finance leader, maybe some operations leader, maybe some manufacturing leader, maybe some marketing leader. So finance person has a team under him, so he will brief what is to be done for the finance to his team. So each each team has to be doing their team meetings, and then the leaders, the organization level or the operation level meetings are to be done, so that the proper information can can be disseminated, so that the proper project process can be implemented. And obviously how the subordinates will report the performance, so that whether that's how they will measure the performance and report the performance to the superiors, so that the superiors can check whether the process is going according to the plan or not. So that's how the communication management, that's why the communication management is important. All the information should be going from top to bottom in a proper manner, in a manner, so that everybody should know what is his job and what he is supposed to do. Everybody must have a clear idea, so that that's how the proper implementation of the project can be done. So we have discussed already the communication management part. Then change control management will come to that. Yes, one thing I just wanted to discuss about the quality and other things. Everything for a project, one of the most important resource was human resource. One of the most important resource is human resource, because human resource as project is performed by humans. The job is to be done by the humans. So project management is human and organization management. So it's important to manage the people who are involved in the project, and human resource management is one of the most important aspects of project management. And because these are the questions that have been asked, who decides? Because project is a responsibility of a project team. The team leader has the responsibility to take the ultimate decision, because he or she has to answer to its superior about the project. The team of project team has to be implementing the project. So everyone, there is a sequence of people who, so project leader has to answer it to his superiors. So he is the ultimate decision maker. And who is responsible means the worker, the lower level performers are actually executing the project, so they are the responsible. And in between there are middle level managers who will be giving the inputs to the giving the inputs to the team, to the project leader, and accordingly the some decisions are to be taken. And who takes the benefits? Actually, for a good project, if the project is implemented properly, the whole organization takes the benefit. Obviously, the team gets the more benefit, and they are with their experience, benefit in terms of experience, maybe benefit in terms of certain promotion, good projects done. Maybe the team leader may get promoted, and as a whole the organization gets benefited. As a whole the organization gets benefited, because they can earn, organization can earn profit, earn money by doing the project properly. Who controls? Whoever belongs to that project team leaders and the team members, means the decision makers. Top decision maker, team leader and the sub leaders are the actually controls the things. So human resource management, managing people, is one of the important aspects of managing the project. And complex projects are based on complex organization. Like, see, I have given a picture of a car. So there are several machines inside a car. There are several, and different machines does different jobs. But the driver controls the car. He knows when to pull the press the accelerator, when to give press the brake, when to change the gear. So the decision lies on the driver, and the machine, the workers act according to machine. In this case, the workers who are actually executing. And there are several smaller units who gives the inputs. Like I was saying, the driver is the main controller. The team, the project manager is the actual controller. Who in term, say driver is controlling the project. So that's the aspect. And separate parts. So engine is doing some work, tires are doing some work, then the whole, then the other parts are also doing different. So different components does different jobs so that the whole car can move forward. So the teams are like that. So engine like finance team, then the tires like the marketing team, like that. So they are engine is composed of certain components. So in that finance team, there are people who are working on the, and who provides the inputs to their team leader, and that team leader gives the input to the project manager, and the project manager decides accordingly. The and the whole execution is done. So he gives the instruction to the team leaders, and team leaders gives instruction to the sub workers, so that the process can be done, can be executed properly. So base skill for all complex tasks worldwide is to break down the jobs separately in according to different modules, so that all the different parts can work separately, and they can be assembled together, so that a proper functioning of the car can be done. Like same kind of same way the manufacturing of car is done. So that's how the project management actually works. So human resource management, one of the most important aspect is called organization breakdown structure, or OBS, and a depiction of the project organization arranged so as to relate work packages to organizational units, like as I was saying, marketing department, HR department, finance. So these are the different organizational units, and which job are to be done by which department. That's how the work breakdown structure, the whole job of the project is broken into different work specifically, and accordingly the organization is also broken down, and some a particular job is specified or given to a particular organizational unit. So like, say, these are the phases: A, B, C, D, E, F, or maybe could be the persons also. A, B, C, D. Different persons are involved in the project, and there are different requirements. Say, C, P is the participant, AC is the accountable, R is the review required, I is the input required, and S is the sign off required. So let me explain what I'm trying to mean by this. Is called the responsibility assignment matrix. So person C, his for requirement, his requirement AC implies he is accountable for requirements. Person C is accountable for requirements. Person C is accountable for functional phase. Person C is R, review required. So person C is a part of the design, but person C can look for review required, and for development, for person C, his signature is required, and for test, his signature is required. So that means person C is a very important person. So every aspect of the job, the say for different functions, all person C is very important. Now for person E, P means he is only the participant in different types of requirements. Person E is responsible for very different types of requirements, and for design, person E's input is required. For designing the project, some information from E is required, and also for testing of the project, some information from E is required. So that's why it is required. I is input required. So this is how I, what are the different jobs to be done, and different persons are to be, for what job, which persons, what kind of involvement is defined, is this particular matrix is given by the responsibility assignment matrix. A particular person and a particular job, whether this particular person is required for this particular job, yes or no, or if it is yes, what kind of involvement is required for that particular job, that has been explained in this particular responsibility assignment matrix. So as I was saying, human resource is one of the most important aspect of the project, because humans are will be working on the project, so that they will be using the other resources, machine, material, money, equipment, technology, so that the project can be done properly, the project can be uh, implemented properly, and benefit could go to the whole organization. So it is important that human resource is one of the most important aspect of the project. Thank you. Let's give an example. Let's go back to the same example that we were discussing about our sister's marriage. So, uh, for sister's marriage, you are the team leader, because you are a MBA student. You are the team project leader. So, your responsibility is to execute your sister's marriage properly. Then you have chosen your team, one team for doing the marketing, means marketing for the marriage. You have chosen one team to decide about the marriage hall and the decoration of the marriage hall. You have decided another team for selecting the that priest, and uh, on the marriage day responsibility, you have selected another team for transport and transport related activities. So suppose these are the four different teams, and you have decided one particular person on uh, assigned one person as a leader of each team. Okay. Now, say for marketing team, when they have, and your budget for marriage is uh, for marketing of gold ornaments is 5 lakhs of rupees. Now, when that team went to the market, went to buy the gold ornaments, they found whatever they have planned to bought, or whatever you have planned to bought, the budget is exceeding by say 50,000. Okay. So then the team leader, means the person who is assigned that job, is asking the permission from you whether I can spend 50,000 or more, because you are responsible of executing the project, but your budget was say 13 lakhs. But if you don't have the money, then you have to decide whether you can spend extra 50,000 or not. So that person does not have the decision making capability. You have to, or otherwise you have to ask your father whether we can spend 50,000 extra rupees or not. So in that case, certain functional requirements are certain responsibilities. But if it is like, say 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 instead of 50,000 extra, say 5,000 extra is there, then that person who's the team leader for buying the gold ornament, he can decide, okay, 5,000 is almost okay, so that's not a difficult, he can take the decision. He can take the decision, okay, instead of buying the gold ornaments of 5 lakhs, he can buy it for 5 lakh 5,000. But if it is that decision he can make. But if it is instead of 5 lakh, if it is 5 lakh 50,000, he has to ask take your permission whether he can spend 50,000 more in buying the gold ornament or not. So that is what is called the assignment and job responsibility and people decision making capability. So that can be taken as a